Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. We got Keith Bulluck hanging out here in studio. We're happy to have him. KB, it's been a while since you've been in with us, at least.
Yeah, man. You know, you are a celebrity, so, you know, whenever I get the opportunity, I really appreciate it. Lucas hit me. I'm like, yo, my bad, I didn't get back to you. Is the slot still available?
Always. Don't do that, though,
For
KB.
you, the door is wide open.
I'm surprised you're here. Lucas usually gets me in when he got a fill-in, when he's doing all the heavy lifting.
It happens more often than you think.
You're usually doing the heavy lifting, right, Luke?
Perpetually, KB.
Well, yeah, I just get away with it at this point in time.
Hey, the
only time that I'm a celebrity is when Keith Bulluck calls me out on Twitter. So when we get put on blast that way, it brings a little extra shine one way or the other.
I usually just ask questions. What's the logic?
Usually there is none.
No, I'm just along for the ride most days.
Yeah, I'm usually just trolling you. If I say something to you, I'm probably just trolling.
No, are you kidding me? It's welcome feedback on a regular basis. I am excited for you to be honored at this Tennessee-Syracuse game. That's going to be really cool. I know you spent some time up at Syracuse this summer, taking in practice and things like that, but I'm sure it's not the first time that the university and the program have honored you in that situation, but that's going to be a really unique setting.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I remember that time Syracuse played, that I was on the team and we played UT. So I saw that Al Wilson is the other one, so
yeah.
That's pretty cool because honestly, college football wasn't the way it is now in 1997. We didn't play in 7-on-7 with each other since ninth grade, and familiar with different people and talk about when I got to Syracuse, I think I met one person that I was going to school with. So that's how familiar you aren't with who you're going to school with as a freshman and who you're going to be playing against from week to week. So when we were playing Tennessee opening game, it didn't register. It was nothing to us up north. Like, all right, we're playing Tennessee. Peyton Manning went there the year before, and we knew that because Donovan was up for the Heisman that year. But we had guys too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't really register until the first play when they were lined up in the I formation and Jamal Lewis was bigger than Sean Bryson. And I'm like, I can't use the word I want to use. Yeah, I knew it was going to be one of them days.
That was a hell of a game, too.
Yeah, it was, man. Like I said, we didn't know. We knew we were playing a top 25 team. We were a top 25 team. T. Martin, Peerless Price. They had, I believe, Clifton on the line of scrimmage. Like I said, Sean Bryson, Jamal Lewis. But we had guys ourselves, Donovan McNair, Dwight Freeney, Will Allen, Kevin Johnson, Rob Conrad, myself. So there was a star-studded game, a bunch of over 10 NFL draft picks. And if we didn't have SEC refs, we might have won.
That 98 national championship does not happen with that 1-point win by Tennessee over Cuse. But, yeah, hell of a game. Just a few of the names you mentioned there. Talking about some Hall of Fame caliber guys. So, quite the matchup. I don't know that this one will be as star-studded, KB, as that one in 1998.
I would say not.
But we don't know what to expect, right?
Exactly.
On either side, honestly, this year.
Well, and just keeping it with the Syracuse side, because we've been talking ad nauseum about Tennessee and this roster all offseason. Just so much to replace. And what Fran Brown is trying to recreate from last year, where are they right now in that acclimation process in your mind of filling so many holes on the roster via the transfer portal?
Well, I would say, obviously, being in his second year, he's still trying to rebuild. It's almost like when Heupel got to Tennessee and he had some success. So now you want to build on that success that you had. So, by scheduling Tennessee to open up the year, his second season as a head coach, he's showing he's not ducking any smoke, and he wants to get his program up to speed as fast as possible. Fran Brown, when I'm up there, he's talking national championship. You have to kind of put that in your players' minds, because even in 2025, you have some guys that are going to be 4-year lettermen, that aren't going to transfer, that are going to be there, that need to adopt and accept what's being taught. So it's national championship. That's kind of how they speak up there. Now, the realistic part is, that's on them. I don't know how realistic it is, but you have to develop and build a championship mentality, and Fran comes from Georgia, so why would he expect anything else or, preach anything else for his team? And then obviously as a head coach and as a recruiter, he puts that pressure on his coaches to go out and try and get the best players possible. I mean, we don't have the pockets as SEC schools, but you get a good education.
Slight recruiting pitch
we got Newhouse.
That's right. You want to be a broadcaster?
You want to be a broadcaster.
Come on down. Keith Bulluck hanging out in studio with us. But like the idea of
all the kids in the hood are like, what's Newhouse?
The messaging, though, on that, whether it's Fran Brown at Syracuse or like Diego Pavia doing it at Vanderbilt,
right.
like it's easy, I think, for people at major SEC Power 4 college football programs to kind of turn their nose up and be like, okay, whatever. But you mentioned how different things are from 1997. Like the environment has never more existed to be able to put something like that in place or turn around a program than it is right now.
1,000%. And obviously all these kids are attracted to the money right out of school, right out of high school. But that's small change in a big picture, because at the end of the day, if you get $1 million NIL, that's not setting you up for life. I feel like you need to have a longer tunnel vision to kind of keep the blinders on to when you get that NIL. All right, that's cool. I can send some money home. I can have the latest, J's or whatever they do these days. But you got to keep your mind on the task at hand, and whatever that is for you to get to the NFL, or if you're a guy that doesn't get a big NIL deal and you have to go a different route. You start at a small school, now you go to another school, and you just keep transferring up. You're the type of kid that might be interested in a Syracuse because you understand that, all right, I'm a third-year sophomore, and I just want to get on the field. Okay, I'll take this $60,000 and the scholarship and set myself up for life after football, because what I do know is everyone that I went to school and graduated with at Syracuse, they are owning business, running companies. They're doing things in their community. Like, if I didn't have money, I could call and borrow something from them. If not money, they would give me some knowledge of how to, put myself in position. So I feel, obviously, in the landscape of college football, it's about the on-field thing, but to how you started this off in 2025, these kids are in great position to set themselves and their families and their friends up to start businesses, corporations. It just depends on how you're thinking about it. And obviously, off air, we were talking about my Just Love. So I've been in business mind the last 5 years, but I've also been in sports, and I think that's important, because these kids do have those resources to them right now.
At KBull53 is where you can follow along on social media. Keith Bulluck hanging out here with us in studio. To the same point about messaging, though, I know you follow along with the Titans and everything that's going on day-to-day basis. Cam Ward he doesn't come with a lot of the baggage that these last couple of teams have had, where it's been tough times. It's been, a bit of a drought here last couple of years, and he's very comfortable. He seems to be the only one that's allowed to have to raise any level of expectation for the Tennessee Titans this year, where everybody else is downplaying the messaging. He's talking about a potential top 5 receiver core, top 10 offense, things like that. But everything that he does, the level of authenticity about him, Keith, like how important that is to the guys that he's trying to lead coming in as a rookie, number 1 overall pick or not. You could speak to that better than most.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I've said it before, but I feel like he's coming in with the poise and the swag of a rookie Vince Young. They are totally two different players, but when Vince came in, he was the number 1 pick, but he wasn't, necessarily the starter. There was Billy Volek, then they brought in Kerry Collins. So he was forced to be humble and forced to wait his turn and learn. And, once he got out there, obviously he won Rookie of the Year, and he did what he had to do to propel the team to win. So whereas Cam is a rookie, he's going to get the opportunity right now. It shouldn't all fall on him, because I know defensively we played some good defense that year. We weren't the best defense in the league league, but we made plays when things need to happen. We had Pac-Man Jones, who was a hell of a punt returner that year. Albert Ainsworth kind of started to come into his own. There were guys on offense that Vince Young could rely on. We had a 1,300-yard rusher in a Travis Henry out of UT. So there were things that helped this team that was a little seasoned, like this Titans team is now, when we got the rookie quarterback in there that had talent, that was a top 3 pick in the NFL, gave him some things he could rely on and feel comfortable with. Mike Heimerdinger, who was a great OC. It was Norm Chow, I'm sorry. That was Vince's rookie year. But they tailored to what Vince's strengths were, kind of similar to what it sounds like Brian Callahan is doing with Cam Ward.
Keith Bulluck hanging out in studio with us. It's been quite a few months since you announced Femi Oladejo as the Titans' second-round draft pick. Nailed the name.
I was worried for you a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look, let me tell you how it goes down, because it really is literally the name comes out of the printer, and the young lady writes Tennessee Titans, and then the name, and then she gives it to you. And I'm like, oh.
No pronunciation guide, no phonetics.
So I had to phonetically do it myself, and that's what I came out with.
You have to do a little research, like a quick Google to make sure?
No, they give it to you, and then Tracy Perlman, who's the head of all that, she walks you out. You walk out to the stage.
I was cracking up looking at the videos that you were posting, heading out there or after the fact. Oluwafemi Oladejo. There was a slight slowdown, the speed bump of the name, and then he nailed it.
Drilled it.
That's and then Roger Goodell kind of alluded. Roger's a good dude. He always has jokes, especially with the former players, because he doesn't have to deal with us too much. But yeah, he got jokes.
I don't know how much of the Titans defense you've gotten to really watch up close throughout the preseason, but just sticking with Femi and this developmental path that he's on, playing what was your position in college for most of it, and then moving more to an edge role, trying to affect the quarterback. Just how big of a learning curve do you feel that is for Femi, and what early inclinations have you gotten in terms of how he's trying to approach it his rookie year?
Well, I've had an opportunity to meet Femi. We've gone to dinner. We've gone to lunch. We spent some time together. So I know he has a great attitude. He wants to be great. So there's no limit in the amount of time and work that he will put into his game to become that player. I don't necessarily know the scheme that they haven't played. I haven't been watching much preseason because it's just preseason.
You're not missing much.
But at the same time, I know he'll get his opportunities. So it just depends on, what he makes of his opportunities. I don't know what we're expecting to see, right? Do we want a whole lot of sacks out of him, or do we want him to be a solid player? Like, not make a lot of mistakes, be where he's supposed to be, maybe affect the passing lanes. As a rookie, I don't know what we're expecting, because, Javon Kearse was asked to put his hand in the dirt, when he got here as well, and he still has the sack record. So that's kind of how my mind goes, and it's not fair for me to think that for Femi. But look, it's been proven that you can make an immediate impact with pass rushing, getting to the quarterback, and the Titans haven't done a really good job of that in the last couple of years, and all the pressure is, Big Jeff, but he plays defensive tackle. He's getting double teamed, and his pressure is coming right up the middle. So all the quarterback really has to do is step to the side, these, that, and the other. So they do need some outside pressure, and we hope that Femi's the guy, right?
And they're game planning for Jeff, obviously. Like, he's 1,000%. The guy that you got to stop.
And then, look, Devondre Sweat helps a lot. But if they're pushing the pocket like they're going to do, somebody has to come around to finish up. So there's been no finish.
Which was Harold last year.
Right.
He's out the door.
Harold's out the door, and honestly, keep it 100, a lot of Harold's sacks he fell into. Like, he wasn't beating nobody, so nobody's been beating anybody on the outside for a handful of years here, and that's not a knock at anyone. It's not that anyone isn't trying. They just need to get that outside heat to make the quarterback come off the ball faster, because you're getting the pressure in the face.
They got to have somebody beyond Jeff who can win one-on-one, and that's what it is at the end of the day.
You know what? And to be fair, again, The Titans they're a blitzing defense now. I'm someone who played in a defense that we relied on the 4-man rush, and we got there a lot with Vanden Bosch and Carter and Hainsworth and Curse and whoever else.
A little different kind of horsepower.
Yeah, absolutely. But whoever else Coach Washburn wanted to put in there, we made it happen. So.
Now, among the many things that we appreciate about Keith Bulluck at KBull53 is where you can follow along is the context that you give to a lot of the things that, maybe people are operating with a lot of recency bias. And a lot of that comes up with Cam and some on-the-field comparisons that he gets to Steve McNair's playing style. Now, that's where it starts first and foremost, but then people are very quick to pick it up and run with it and try to make it into something that's not. And I appreciate the context that you have continued to provide. Not a knock on Cam by any stretch of the imagination, but just understanding how much the gravitas that Steve McNair had on and off the field and how much more Cam Ward is going to have to do before those comparisons in a couple of different ways are even remotely apt.
Yeah, 1,000%. My rookie year, I'm glad the way you set that statement question up is because, everybody wants to remember the MVP, Steve McNair. But the early years, before I even got here, I used the Titans/Oilers on the Madden. And it was Eddie George. Yeah. I'm using Eddie George. You know what I'm saying? We're running the ball with Eddie George. And then when I got here, it was still Eddie George in 2000. Super Bowl, obviously, Steve made his plays because he was that guy like that. But he didn't really come into his own until Heimerdinger got here. And I believe that was my rookie year. Yes, Heimerdinger got here. And I think it was the second game we were playing Kansas City. He got knocked out of the game. Or whatever, he got booed. I remember the fans booing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jeff Fisher tells the story where Steve was like, man, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. And, a lot of his former teammates at that time, they'll confirm that story. And we went to Pittsburgh. Neil was starting. When Neil came in, everybody cheered, and Neil led us to win that game. And then we went up to Pittsburgh maybe the following week, and Neil got knocked out of the game, and then Steve had to come in, and in 3 plays, he threw the game-winning touchdown to Aaron Kinney. Now everybody loves him, and then the rest is history. But I was here for the beginning of that, so I think Cam Ward is going to go through that. He's going to go through the time where people are going to boo him. Oh, we should have kept Levis. We should have, however it works. But that's sports, and fans with all these social media outlets. Tom Jones from down the street can start a podcast tomorrow and, it can go viral because of something he said about Cam Ward. So everyone has their opinion. So I think as an athlete, and to be honest, I don't remember hearing that much when I was an athlete in the building, but you pick up your phone, now you're like,
oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
It's impossible. I mean, and
you pick up your phone and it's like you're warped in. It's like you're in another dimension.
Well, and that you have more context, more information than, half the mouth breathers that are telling you that you don't in those situations. And it's almost, you got to have a lot of willpower to not engage, which I love the way that you and Nate Washington handle people.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even retweet a lot of the stuff. But to just close that off, I say that Cam just has to, I like the way he's handling everything now. He understands that it's not all on him, and his team has to understand it's not all on him. Like you said, he has the confidence to say, I have a top 5 wide receiving core. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And as the leader, he has to do that because they don't necessarily believe that they're oh, snap, I'm a top wide receiver. They're not.
Who, me?
Right, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas, me, I was a first-round draft pick. I knew who I was. Even when I wasn't getting those opportunities, every time I got on the field, I'm going to show and prove that I'm that person. So there are guys that are out there like that know who they are. They just need the opportunity. And there are guys that have been on the Titans for years that have gotten all the opportunity and haven't done crap. And that just is what it is. You've made some plays here, made some plays there, but, let's be real about the situation. So everything goes on, the quarterback and all that, the line and all this, but there are some guys here, there, sprinkled around that need to really step up in order for this team to have success.
Keith Bulluck hanging out in the studio.
This Saturday in Atlanta, you're being honored on the field alongside Al Wilson. You and Al Wilson, both you guys were on the field.
Big dog.
Played in the same era. I mean, legends in your own right. What's that relationship like? Is there any trash talk happening between you and Al leading up to the game on Saturday?
Nah, I wasn't much of a trash talker on the field. Like, if you said something to me, I'm going to definitely say something back to you. But, what I remember about Al from that game is, like I said, you didn't know, you weren't familiar with the players, especially defensive players, except Ray Lewis. Everybody, like, in college, he was somebody that, like,
It's a little different.
Like, I knew who Ray Lewis was. Like, Ray Lewis and Derek Brooks.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh, my
Javon
God.
Kearse. Like, those are, like, Charles Woodson, Peyton. Like, those are, you know what I mean? So, guys like myself and Al, like, we're trying to put our name on the map. And he did that game because you see 27 all over the field. And, for the game-winning field goal, I went to go block, and then I just had my head on the ground, and then a voice above me was like, "Man, get your ass up, 33. You was balling it." And it was Al Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, so we were watching each other that game, and
That's
then in
awesome.
the NFL, he went first round, I went first round. And every time I think I just saw Al, maybe it was Super Bowls in Vegas a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago.
We had a cigar, chopped it up. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing him. But look, we don't get into. We're kind of more like Indiana fans when it comes to football. We're not gonna, maybe a little better than that, but
Easy.
We have more success than that. But we're not like UT fans. UT fans swear they're Alabama. And they ain't won nothing since '98.
Brother.
It's true. But
They are. I appreciate the passion. Is the most diplomatic way that I could talk about.
1000%. I appreciate the passion and I appreciate the honesty in the fans, because, like, once it starts to go downhill, they go downhill. The comments go downhill.
They
too.
will live and die on every snap.
So I love, look, shout out
That's
to
the
all my
realest.
UT fans, because all my friends here are UT fans. So, you know what I'm saying?
gonna be a fun ride.
It's Keith Bulluck, kind enough to hang out in studio with us. KB, we appreciate you doing it. Open door policy, of course, but we'll have to have you. I know you're a busy guy. But
Yeah,
we'll
I
have
have
to have
something
you
to
back.
talk about soon. I'm transitioning in, I'm making a transition in, like life work and jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's up.
All right. Big things.
The next phase. We'll
There
keep
you go.
updated.
I'm going to the next phase.
The
That's
next
what I was looking
phase.
for.
Keith Bulluck hanging out in studio with us, being honored on the field in Atlanta when Tennessee and Syracuse square off in week 1. Last call for phone calls.
Love you, KB.
Wrap up the show.
All right.
Coming up next. Don't encourage him. Go to break.